everyone, it's Betsy. I wanted to come on and share a journal that I made, and I just love doing it so much. It's just one of the most wonderful things that I do with my time. I love old books, and I love pictures of or portraits of girls, and I started seeing pictures on Pinterest and over the years of girls holding books, reading books, and I thought what a wonderful theme that would make for a journal. So I collected a lot of them, and I printed a bunch out either on a canvas type paper or regular paper or tea-dyed paper or even some fabric, and added lots of pages that I'll show you to make this little journal. I also like to use antique lace, and I like to use as many authentic old things that I can. I just love them. I love antiques, and I love old scraps of paper, scraps of old flowers, and just little things. So you'll see as I go along. Anyway, I started with a book that I made myself and covered with some antique rose fabric that I found on eBay. And then I used some lace from my stash to cover the spine. And I used some woven tatting at the bottom with old red ticking, just a little scrap there because she has some fabric in the picture that just kind of meshed together. And you can see the lace on the back side and the fabric a little better. It's just a beautiful old fabric. And I left the lace raw edge just as it was. I love this sheer netting that so many of the old laces have. I forget the name of this type. I'm not an expert on their names, but I do know it's a very old one. She had the honor of my cover because she was my favorite. I love her coloring. I just think she's so beautiful. Inside is another vintage lady, and I found her picture, and then I collaged some lace and flowers around her digitally, and I actually just printed her onto the tea-dyed paper, or the coffee-dyed paper rather. And on this side is a pretty aged paper that has some soft teal roses and some space for someone to write. Then I added lots of quotes from my favorite books. This was from Charles Dickens. I wish you to know that you have been the last dream of my soul. This is very old paper that came from a dictionary. I have two of these, and they are just wonderful. They are from the 1800s. I didn't have to tea-dye that. It just is just old and aged because of time. And I put this page in because it has the word book on it. This is a little scrap of calico that came from the 1800s, and another little girl reading her book with curls, and she's also from probably the 1800s, possibly the 1700s. But just a print, I printed her again right onto the coffee dyed paper. And just collaged this little quote. I think you can read that. This is a pretty thick kind of tissue paper or tracing paper that's been tea-dyed. Another journal page. And I just love these old Regency type ladies, and I loved finding one where she was reading a book. I just love their clothes. Look at the hat. And I put a digital border around her and softened it a little bit just to make it look like it was part of her. And this is actually a quote from J.K. Rowling. I think you can read that. I think that's so true. And now and then you'll see some strings, and this is actually wax twine or string that I used to bind the book together, all the pages. Some more journaling spots. A quote from Emerson. I stamped some pretty designs on the papers for borders as well. And who doesn't love Jane Eyre? It's just a print of a book cover that's so pretty. Another dictionary page. We lose ourselves in books. We find ourselves there too. Sometimes I'll add a little scrap of lace and a filigree. I love this page that I found with the feather, the old feather to write on. If you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need. This was a picture I found on Pinterest of a cute little doorway. I just thought how sweet to go into and see maybe a secret garden. So I added the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland inside. Made a little tag. This is just a print of some script. I coffee dye or tea dye all my pages, and I just thought this paper was so pretty. I added that and found this ribbon that matched it so well. I love fleur-de-lis. That design is just my favorite. I have it all over my house. I think I must be French at heart. I don't know. And another pretty picture of a girl. People generally see what they look for and hear what they listen for. Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird. More paper to write on. This was a cover of an old book that I printed out, scanned and printed. More writing space. And I love this. He said, above all, watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. Isn't that true? You have to believe in something to find it. I truly, truly think that's so wise and so very, very true in life. And I clipped it on, and underneath of it, I found this awesome little design. You see that? And I made a pocket with it. There's another one underneath of it. So it's like a little round pocket. And this little envelope just slides inside. And inside here I just put, I put a little, oh, there it is. It says, we only have this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake. Marie Ray wrote that. I think that's so pretty. And another Regency girl. It's from around the early 1800s to 1820s, something like that. More writing space. Another quote by Emerson. I just made a little bookmark here with a wise little owl on it. Another beautiful lady with a book. A little tag, something that we put on that. Tissue paper that's been tea dyed. And I love, love, love the folk art papers that are pictures that I find. I just took her and digitally put a border around her that looks like a feather stitch. And I added a little tiny clip that I made from a tiny clothespin and put a piece of filigree on it and added Peter Rabbit to it. Thought that was cute there. More quotes. And this is a very old flower that I just loved, with the little pom-pom in the center. I thought it looked cute over her. And inside here is a pocket. I made a pretty rose envelope. It just has some little, oh no, it has a quote in it. I'll read this to you, and if you know what book it comes from, let me know. I do know, but I want to see if anyone else knows this one. It is only with the eyes that one, I'm sorry, whoops, sorry. I know this quote by heart and I can't read it. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly what is invisible. Oh my gosh, am I messing this up? What is essential is invisible to the eye. One of my very favorite books. If you know it, let me know. And that fits right inside here. And I have a little paper clip, green paper clip that matches. And at the top there's also a pocket. And in that pocket, isn't she beautiful? Can you see her? She has a little dog in her lap and a book in the other hand. It's just a tag. You can write on the back of the tag. I like her sticking up and looking down. Books open up windows to the mind, soul, and heart. This is another little pocket here. Inside it says, a friend is someone who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you have forgotten the words. So pretty. I don't know who wrote that, but I just love that saying. More journaling spots. A little tag with an old rose on it. And that was some pretty dollhouse wallpaper. I thought that was so pretty with that pink ribbon. Just matched. Beautiful girl's face. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I think this quote is so true, don't you? And here's one from Jane. If a book is well written, I always find it too short. Jane Austen. Another Regency girl from Jane's time, era. And more paper to write on. I declare there is no enjoyment like reading. I used to rubber stamp with this design throughout the book, just to add a little touch of a border. It's another old dictionary page. This is also from one of my favorite children's books. I won't read the whole thing, but it's about becoming real. And once you are real, you can't be ugly except to people who don't understand. That's from the Velveteen Rabbit. I used some more of the pretty antique fabric. And I love this folksy picture of this lady with the big hat. Isn't she precious? I printed her out on a canvas type fabric and collaged this border that came from an old sampler, very early old sampler. Add a little silk red ribbon and some more of that woven tatting at the bottom. More places to write. Thought that lady was cute, looking over her book. And so what I did is I took this old piece of lace and then I made a little flap. And when you open the flap, it says, Reading gives us some place to go when we have to stay where we are. I like how that turned out. It just kind of happened. This little girl is from a Civil War picture. I have her, and I make a lot of things with her because I think she's so precious. So she just shows up in a lot of my things. And she wasn't holding a book, but she still wanted to be included, so I said okay. And these are some coffee or tea dye tags that I threw in there that could be written on. This is old tatting and an old mother of pearl button here. Very, very old. Very beautiful. This is just a ragged old dictionary page again. Another saying about books and people, and it's by Ernest Hemingway. Just a beautiful piece. So you can see I love this era. I put sometimes this cloth ribbon in different places because it kind of helps make the book a little more sturdy, and I glue it in there so that it helps to hold things all together. This is a stamp I have, If the Crown Fits, which is the name of my Etsy shop. Fill your paper with the breathings of your heart. Williams Wordsworth. Another pretty picture to write on. And this little tag, it's actually a new book. I don't know if you've read this one, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Never thought I would like something like that, but it was just a wonderful, fabulous story. I saw the movie and that was good, but the book was better, I thought. As usually is the case, I think. I'll read my books and I'll drink coffee and I'll listen to music and I'll bolt the door. J.D. Salinger. Another pretty bookmark. I just found that design somewhere. I don't know where, but I thought it was so beautiful. And a word could be put down here, or a sentence, a quote from a book. Same on the back. Another pretty lady in yellow reading her book. These are some little book covers that were old that I just printed, scanned and printed. And this is an old book plate. Another pretty lady. And this says by C.S. Lewis, now at last they were beginning chapter 1 of the great story no one on earth has ever read, which goes on forever, in which every chapter is better than the one before. Another tag. This is a ribbon, decorative ribbon. Just a little old alphabet from a sampler. And I printed that out on a little piece of silky cotton. It's kind of invisible almost. There's a pocket here with a little tag I made. It says right. And this is the last page. There's a little tag here under the doily. This is actually a brass plate that was patinaed, so it has like a verdigris look to it. And I was thinking that maybe it would be fun to glue a piece of paper here with your name, or someone's name who the book is dedicated to, or I always think I have a couple journals that I will keep, and I always think it would be nice to dedicate one or two to my grandchildren, which I don't have yet, but one day I hope to. And this is just an old looking envelope, not a real old one though. This was just one that was coffee dyed, and I added the word read, and inside just a little postcard with birds, and book cover of A Christmas Carol, and whoops, Through the Looking Glass, and What Alice Found There. I'm a big collector of children's books. I just love them. I used to teach kindergarten and first and second grades, and you know, I read a lot of books to my students, but I've always loved them, and I have quite a collection of old children's books. This is a teeny tiny mini paperclip, but it does fit on there. And we'll hold that envelope there. Just another pretty lady at the very end. And that's it. I did make a band that can be put around it. I used a flexible material to make the band and covered it with the same antique fabric so it matches. And on the right side I glued this gorgeous old lace. And I found this French buckle. Used to be on a shoe, a woman's shoe. I have a few of these, and I use a lot of them. I've made a bracelet with one, a necklace with one. I think they're so beautiful, and they can be quite expensive, so I have to really hunt for them to find ones that aren't so pricey. And this is just a little book charm that actually opens. You can put words in there or pictures. And it just fits around the book, and then I put a magnet on both ends so that it will meet at the ends and hold the book in place. Something it doesn't have to have, but I don't know. I don't know why. I just thought it was pretty and added it. So that's it, folks. I hope you liked my journal, and I'll put a link to my Etsy shop. I will probably put this on there or on eBay. I'm not really sure yet. I really work hard on my journals and put a lot of time, and my heart and soul goes into them. So I always have a lot of trouble figuring out what to charge for them. That's my biggest dilemma when it comes to these journals. But I certainly have enjoyed sharing it with you today, and I hope you've enjoyed it too. And I hope you'll come back and see me again. Please like and subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye.